Hello, hello, YouTube friends. So today we are doing a very special video for you. I am here with my amazing Science People team. Everyone say hi. So
Hello.
here, I'm here with Scott,
Hi.
Danielle,
Hello.
Lauren,
Hi.
and myself, Vanessa Van Edwards. And the reason we're doing this is because we're talking all about communication strategies for working virtually or in hybrid work or part remote work. I love virtual work because I think it gives us tremendous flexibility, but I also think that sometimes you can run into a couple of complications with our communication strategies. So we thought we would do this video as an actual team meeting. This is how we do our team meetings every week. And we're going to share some tips and tricks on virtual communication. So very first one I want to go over with you is video, video, video. As much as possible, it's so nice to be able to have video. And I know that we do phone calls, we do emails back and forth, we do Slack and chat. But the nice thing about video is if I deliver news and someone shows a surprise face, like if Danielle looks surprised, then I know Danielle was shocked by that news. Or if I say something and Lauren very much disagrees, she could shake her head no. Or if she absolutely agrees, she could shake her head yes. So what's really nice for whoever is speaking is you can kind of see the reactions, even though you're not in person. So if you can, as much as possible, do video, at least for those weekly or if you must monthly check-ins to see each other face to face. Second, dynamic tools. So just because you aren't in person doesn't mean that you can't make a more dynamic experience. What I mean by this is a lot of these softwares, like right now we're using Zoom, but you could use GoToWebinar, you could use Google Hangouts. There's a lot of great softwares. You can sort of spice it up. So for example, we could all chat to each other and say hi. So if I wanted to chat to the group, hello everyone. They can all chat back to me and say hi. Or if I want to share a link, I can share a link. Some softwares even allow you to have polls. They allow you to show slides. They allow you to show videos. Sometimes what I'll do on a call is if I want to show my team something, I'll share my screen or I'll make a slideshow so I can show them slides. They can visually see myself along with the visual representation. So don't be afraid on your virtual meetings to make them a little bit more dynamic. This is kind of the fun part about all of our amazing tools is you can actually use the technology to do something special. Number 3, this one comes from Scott, which is all about making your pings easier. Scott, explain that to us.
Yeah, so if you're in an office and you're sitting back to back with someone who, or at a desk or something like that, you might feel free to ask them, oh, I just finished this new webpage design. Please have a look. Tell me what you think. When you're in a virtual setting, it's much harder. The baseline or an effort required to ask someone their opinion is much higher. You have to open up Slack, you have to send an email, you have to schedule a meeting, wait for the meeting to happen, and it turns into more of a presentation. So there's a lot more effort that goes into any communication. So if there's any way that you can make pings easier for the team, you'll have a lot more infrequent or a frequent casual communication. And that might lead to a lot more ideas being bounced back and forth, a lot more cross collaboration between the team. So some teams, for example, use lunch and learn type settings where they have a scheduled set time every week to sit on a video chat like this and use that time to ask for ideas, suggestions, as a spitballing session, rather than turning every presentation or every meeting into a really formal presentation that takes a lot of preparation. It takes a lot of the spontaneity and a lot of the vulnerability out of asking.
Yeah, we try, I think, also using all the tools that are available to you. So that could be chat, could be Slack, could be text. It's kind of whatever ping works best for you or your team, and also asking people what works best for them. Like my team knows I am absolutely terrible on Slack, so much so that I don't use it at all. But I am very, very quick on email, or if it's urgent texts, those are my preferred method of pinging. All right, let's talk about step number 4, and this has to do with digital body language. So I'm obsessed with body language. I love all the nonverbal communication strategies. And I hinted at the beginning of the video about how you can see each other, but I also want you to think about your own body language. So you'll notice that all of us look absolutely gorgeous on this video, but that you can see a lot of our bodies. What I mean by this is we as a team try to push our computers back. So for example, if my computer was really close, right, and you would only see my face, it takes away, I was just like, well, let's go closer. Right? It takes away from seeing more of my reactivity. So for example, if I push it farther back, you can see more of my hand gestures, you can see my shoulder movement. We like to see more of the other person. It helps build trust, especially hand gestures. So if you can, try to show more of yourself. Push your camera back, push your computer back so you can show those hand gestures. Don't be afraid to just to get into a nice outfit if you must. It also feels a little bit more professional, although I do love pajamas on video calls if your team will allow it. All right, number 5 is fit your personality. So this one is really important because everyone feels differently about remote work. For example, introverts tend to love remote work because they like to work alone. They like to brainstorm alone. They like to process alone. Whereas ambiverts, so ambiverts are kind of in between extroverts and introverts. They can be around people and they like being around certain kinds of people in certain kinds of situations, but not all the time. And they tend to like remote work as long as they have some in-person check-ins, some in-person hobbies. Extroverts tend to suffer the most with remote work because they really thrive around people. They like to brainstorm around people. If they're having a good day, they want to have camaraderie. If they're having a bad day, they want to reach out and get soothed by other people. So it's really important to know where you fall in the personality spectrum to try to create either a work communication strategy or a work-life balance strategy that works for you. So on our team, I think most of us are ambiverts on the team. I would love to know, so who's an extrovert on the team? Anyone on my team an extrovert?
No.
No. Any full introverts on the team? So no. So most of our team are ambiverts, which actually works really well for us because we work remotely, but we like to have in-person check-ins or video check-ins. That is a nice balance for everyone on the team. I highly recommend that you know your team members' personality traits. So if they're more introverted, know that they're probably going to want to process alone. If they're more extroverted, reaching out to them for happy hour, trying to make those in-person check-ins at least quarterly if you can, doing more video chat with them. It's a nice way to respect their personality spectrum. All right, number 6 is about recharging, and I love this metaphor. Scott, you're going to explain this metaphor. I love it.
Relationships that are remote are like batteries in my experience. They need to be charged and then they are drained. So when you're in person, not via video chat, this provides rapid charging. So you're seeing each other's body language, you're making eye contact, you might be shaking hands, things like that. It really recharges your battery very quickly and it builds trust. When you're remote, that drains the battery. And the pace at which you drain the battery really depends on the quality of the communication you have. And that could be regular Slack check-ins, email check-ins, whatever it is. It's as long as you both have the feeling that you're communicating and know what's going on with each other, your battery's going to drain pretty slowly. If you don't know what's going on, it may drain faster. Your trust will erode faster. So it's really important to have either quarterly check-ins or happy hours or things that with your remote team really recharge those batteries. So for example, our team, we have film days pretty often for these YouTube type videos. And that's when we get together. We have lunch together. We have in-person physical moments where the whole team is together, and then the battery will slowly charge as we do video meeting, discharge as we do these kind of video meetings.
And this fits perfectly into the last step, which is about personality. So if you know you have a team of introverts, their batteries might not recharge as quickly as if you have a team of extroverts or a team of ambiverts who lean towards extroversion. The very last tip here is to think about your 5 modes. So remote teams have 5 basic ways to communicate: email, phone, chat, video, and in person. And you really want to try to get a balance of each of these because everyone's going to have their favorites. So certain people are going to like their one mode more than others. And also they recharge differently. So if you're switching between different modes, you're able to keep the battery higher for longer because you're not totally exercising it's all email or it's all phone calls all the time. And that way it kind of balances out the ways that you're processing or the ways that you're communicating. You also might want to match up which mode of communication works best for which task. So for example, if I have lots of details and link examples and image examples, I might want to use email because I can really think through that entire email or that entire Google document and put it all in writing with all the examples right there. However, if I want to do a brainstorming session or something creative, something strategic, I will often save it for our video calls because I know trying to brainstorm creatively over email is just not the best mode for that kind of task. So I want you to think about your tasks and which mode of communication works best. I think this is a perk, a huge perk of working remotely. A lot of the times, people will actually default to doing things in person if they work in a big open office. So, for example, let's say that you have someone who wants to go over all these details. They'll walk over to your desk and just bombard you with all those details when actually it would have been way better to have an email. So, I think that one of the best perks of remote work is you really can strategically match tasks and mode of communication. The very last thing, we have one more bonus for you, which is an activity. And Danielle's going to explain this. This is one of my favorite team activities.
Yeah, so this team building exercise is great for virtual teams as well as if you're in person, and it's called Start, Stop, Continue. We actually have a whole video on this called the single best team building exercise, so definitely go check it out after this. Basically, it's an exercise that you can do annually with your team, biannually, or like what we do here at the Science of People, anytime that we have a big launch. So if we have a course launch or a product launch, it's just an opportunity to be able to check in with the team on tasks. You know that working virtually, sometimes it's like, what's Scott working on? What's Lauren working on? What's Vanessa doing? So just to be able to all get together and make a big list of everything that's going on to see what can we start doing to help build the business? What projects can we continue working on? And what things should we stop doing entirely? So if you're doing it virtually, the best way is simply pull up a blank spreadsheet. You can make columns for start, stop, continue, and then each team member can add all of their tasks under each of the columns. It's a great opportunity for team collaboration and to kind of get back to the heart of your company's mission to see, are there things that we're doing on a regular basis that aren't benefiting our target market or our team, or are there things that we can continue doing that are really, really helpful for all of our stakeholders involved? So I'd highly recommend doing that at least once a year. The more the better. It's something that we probably do at least once every 3 months, and it is a great opportunity for your task audit.
Love it. So I highly recommend that team building exercise. It's really fun. I hope this video has been helpful for you. Send this video to your virtual team. You guys can watch it on your own or watch it together. Use it as a jumping off point to talk about which tasks are better for which mode, what are the personality rankings of each person on the team, and how can you make your remote work more dynamic. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my team members for being here and joining me. We're going to continue on with our team meeting because you got to join us for the first half, and we'll see you next time. One of the other things I love to do at the Science People is lead virtual trainings. So if you have a virtual team or a remote team, I would love to do a virtual training for you on power-packed communication strategies for remote teams. We can talk about the science of personality, we can talk about reading microexpressions, as well as my method for virtual team communication, which is all science-based. I run a human behavior research lab called the Science of People. So we do research on how to optimize, hack, and strategize how we communicate. And I love talking about it in digital environments because obviously I work on a digital team. So if you'd like to inquire about some of our virtual trainings by myself or a colleague, check out scienceofpeople.com/speaking. I'd love to meet your group.